emotional infant, childlike, adolescent, and adult mindsets. What I'm about to read comes from this book right here. And so far, I think it's a really good book. This book was written by a pastor somewhere up in New York City. And, excuse me. Anyways, emotional infants, children, adolescents, and adults. Jesus preached great messages to multitudes. Yet he knew that would not be enough for people to truly get it, quote unquote. So he chose 12 disciples with whom he lived day and night for 3 years. He modeled how his teaching worked out practically. He had them practice. He supervised. He imparted power. Jesus knew inspiration was not enough. And as the author, the pastor who wrote this book says, I have spent all my adult life giving inspiring sermons about God's heart for us to love people. I've preached messages about how Jesus saw each human being as infinitely precious and a treasure in God's sight. I've quoted Mother Teresa of Calcutta's inspiring quote about loving one person at a time, quote unquote, and Thomas Merton's revelation that people, quote unquote, were walking around shining like the sun. But I have found that telling people to love better and more is not enough. They need practical skills incorporated into their spiritual formation to grow out of emotional infancy into emotional adulthood. It is easy to grow physically into a chronological adult. It is quite another to grow into an emotional adult. Many people may be chronically 45 years old, but remain an emotional infant, child, or adolescent. The question then is this: how do I distinguish between them? The following is a brief summary of each. Emotional infants. They look for others to take care of them. They have great difficulty entering into the world of others. They are driven by need for instant gratification. They use others as objects to meet their needs. Emotional children. They are content and happy as long as they receive what they want. They unravel quickly from stress, disappointments, and trials. They interpret disagreements as personal offenses. They are easily hurt. They complain, withdraw, manipulate, take revenge, become sarcastic when they don't get their way. They have great difficulty calmly discussing their needs and wants in a mature, loving way. Emotional adolescents. They tend to be defensive. They are threatened and alarmed by criticism. They keep score of what they give so they can ask for something later in return. They deal with conflict poorly, often blaming, appeasing, going to a third party, pouting, or ignoring the issue entirely. They become preoccupied with themselves. They have great difficulty truly listening to another person's pain, disappointments, or needs. And they are critical and judgmental. Emotional adults. They are able to ask for what they need, want, or prefer clearly, directly, honestly. They recognize, manage, and take responsibility for their own thoughts and feelings. They can, when under stress, state their own beliefs and values without becoming adversarial. One of those big English words, big English Latin words. It's spelled adversarial. Moving right along, emotional adults respect others without having to change them. They give people room to make mistakes and not be perfect. They appreciate people for who they are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm not talking about on the outward appearance. I'm talking about, mentally, emotionally. And not for what they give back. Emotional adults accurately assess their own limits, strengths, and weaknesses, and are able to freely discuss them with others. They are deeply in tune with their own emotional world and able to enter into the feelings, needs, and concerns of others without losing themselves. And, finally, they have the capacity to resolve conflict maturely and negotiate solutions that consider the perspective of others. And this is what all of God's people, all of God's people should be, should have the mindset of an emotional adult, which is the mind of Christ. That's what God would want us to have. And once again, this book right here, and I bought it on Amazon. I haven't finished reading the book yet, but I read most of it so far, and so far I really like this book, and I highly recommend it. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope this this video can help people, or you can use this video to help others. Thanks for watching. See you next video, and may God bless.